Hello and welcome to Unexplained Arkansas. This is Amber.
And this is Lisa.
And this is episode 51. And yay, we made it past the big 50 mark. So that's great. This is our first episode in a series of episodes on the famous Crescent Hotel. So if we had a hotel kind of like the Stanley, it would be the Crescent. Arkansas's most famous haunted site, in my opinion. I don't know about you, Lisa. But
I think so.
yeah, we have more comments, questions, whatever on the Crescent Hotel than just about anything else that we talk about on our online platforms.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. Yeah, this is a popular. Everybody's been waiting for this episode. So.
Well, I think that it was good that we waited to do this one until we, had several episodes under our belt and understood really how to do podcasts pretty well, because this is one I did not want to mess up because there's so much to it.
Yeah, I agree. But I really enjoy messing up the other ones.
Sorry. Well, okay, so
we're recording together today, and I get to touch her while she talks.
Oh my God, this is driving me crazy. Yeah, we're in the same room. We're sitting right next to each other, which is something else that is different than what we have done in the past. And since this is not technically a second season, but it is the second coming of Unexplained Arkansas.
The second coming.
The second coming.
That sounds treacherous.
I know. So we don't know what is in store for the next 50, and I'm very excited about it. We have a lot of things in the works, which we will probably talk about at the end of this episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do we have Patreon shout outs today?
Oh my goodness. We will get to them on your episode because we have 5.
Oh, we have 5?
So remind me. Yes,
okay.
We have 5 new patronies since.
Or did you... Like Patronus, like Harry Potter?
Like Harry Potter's. We do have 5 new ones since we recorded last. So yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Well, we love them, and we're excited because tomorrow night we're actually having a true crime chat night with our friends on Patreon, and we're going to talk about some of the most chatted about cases in true crime right now, plus some that have kind of gotten lost in the public realm lately. Like nobody really talks about the Idaho case. They do still, don't get me wrong, but right now it's getting ready for the court proceedings, and so it's not been on everybody's mind like it has been in the past, but we're still going to talk about it because I've got thoughts.
And we're excited.
Yes.
And so they get 60 minutes of us tomorrow night. Exactly 60.
You keep saying exactly 60.
Because it cuts us off.
Oh, Google Meet, yes.
Yes. So 60.
Yeah.
60 minutes.
Okay,
it's
so
like that show.
Yeah, 60 minutes. Is that even still a show?
I think so.
Really?
Isn't that Anderson Cooper on it?
I don't think so. I don't think he's on 60 Minutes. I think that was Barbara Walters. No, wait, that was 2020. Heck, I don't know. I don't know.
We're not up on our...
Yeah, we're not up on all that. Okay, so how we are going to do these special episodes on the Crescent, we are going to split it. Actually, sorry, we're going to have 3. So we have 3 episodes. Lisa's going to take the first one, which is the early days of the Crescent Hotel. And then I will follow with the second. And then the third will be both of us together because we will talk to you about our upcoming, which by then it'll be our visit we had at the Crescent Hotel. We will be there on September 6th, and we'll be there for a special conference.
The 7th.
Oh, the 7th. Excuse me, the 7th. And we'll be there for a special conference we were invited to. So we are looking forward to that, looking forward to the ghost tour, and looking forward to just seeing that beautiful city. I mean, it's one of my favorite places on earth, and I cannot wait to be there. I haven't been in years. So this is going to be a very exciting week.
It is. And I may or may not... I don't know. I feel like there's going to be some hijinks, like some slumber party hijinks between us. We'll see. We're going to have...
Or it could be like the last one and I just fell asleep.
Yeah, that's always fun. Okay, so you ready to dive in?
I am, yes. I'm very excited.
Okay, so we decided to break this down into decades so we didn't kind of overkill on, just the information. And so that's what we're going to do. So, the Crescent, sorry, I'm collecting my thoughts. The Crescent has been described as macabre, beautiful, picturesque, and haunted. The Crescent Hotel is synonymous with Eureka Springs. And really, for all purposes, they really are almost one and the same, because they were both contrived really about the same time and with the same thought, like the same end goal. So in this episode, we will be taking a deep look at the beginning of both the Crescent and Eureka Springs together. So Eureka Springs is a 7-mile plot of land located in Carroll County. So that is our northwest corner of our state. If you're not from around here, Megs, this is you.
Our resident Canadian that listens to us.
We love her. The town the town does have a couple of fun little nicknames, and I didn't know about these nicknames. I've been to Eureka several times, but one is Little Switzerland and the Star Step Town. So this is due to the mountainous terrain and the many little winding streets that are kind of more found in Europe. So,
yes. Mm-hmm. It's like really somebody plopped a little European town in the middle of northern Arkansas.
I know. Like when I heard that Little Switzerland, I was like, that makes so much sense. And it's and it's old. Like the buildings are old, so it just kind of fits that whole European vibe. So a lot of people, when they go there, they're just like, yeah, looks like little Switzerland. So I've been to Eureka many times. Didn't know about these nicknames, but just totally makes sense. So just like the name suggests, Eureka does boast natural springs, kind of similar to hot springs. We kind of have, like Cersei, where we live, was based on springs. Like we have Spring Park, and people moved to our town for the springs. So evidently water is important, I guess.
Yes.
So originally this land, which is part of the Ozarks, which we have many episodes that discuss the Ozark mountain range. We have the Ozark superstition, so check that out. But this area way back when was inhabited by many indigenous cultures like the Osage Nation. You had bands of the Delaware, and then you had the Shawnee peoples. They visited the springs in the area for sacred purposes and really due to the thought of the healing powers, and they even thought there was magical powers going on in the springs. So there is a story of a Sioux Indian tribe that brought the daughter of the great chieftain to the spring in search of healing. So she was suffering from an eye affliction which had taken away her eyesight. And the people of her tribe were so saddened that such a fate should befall their beloved little princess that they bathed the young girl in the waters, and it said within a short time her eyesight was fully restored. Her story was told far and wide and brought many peoples to the spring for healing. So this would have been, we're talking the early 1800s. This story was going around. So the springs already at that point were super important, super popular. These kind of stories were being told over and over again. So even as European settlers were moving into the area and the government were kind of, sadly pushing out the indigenous tribes, so the Europeans also held the same beliefs about the magical healing powers of the springs. So in 1856, a doctor named Alva Jackson, I think I'm saying that right, is stated to be credited with locating the major spring, the most major spring. So Dr. Jackson was also one of the first Europeans to find the healing qualities of the spring. So some accounts say his own eyesight was bad, like he had an ailment, but I did find another article that said it was his son's eyesight. But the story does go that the springs cured this ailment, whether it's his or his son's, but nothing talked about what was wrong with their eyes. So I don't know if it was like itchy or whatever, if he couldn't see like the Indian princess, but I don't know. But after that, the doctor would treat his patients with the waters from the springs. And so he started to market these springs. So he decided to put together his own medicine from the spring water, and it was called Dr. Jackson's Eye Water.
Oh, nice.
You want a squirt of that?
No. I don't know. I've had some really dry eyes lately with my allergies, so maybe.
You've just been a hot mess with your
I have.
allergies.
With my allergies, I have.
Poor Ambi. She's had a tough time, guys. Do you wear contacts?
No, I can't wear them.
Oh, okay. Because of your dry eyes?
Yeah, partly.
I think maybe you need some of this Dr. Jackson's eye liquid.
Probably so.
Eye water. Okay, so by 1879, Judge J.B. Saunders, who was a dear friend of Dr. Jackson, so he claimed that his crippling skin disease was cured by the spring waters. A little tidbit about the Judge Saunders. So he wanted to name the spring the Jackson Spring, but then Dr. Jackson wanted to name it Saunders Springs after the Judge Saunders' son. So they kind of felt like the son kind of came up with the name Eureka. So,
oh, wow.
I know. So that was kind of a little tidbit, but everybody wanted to pass off the name, but they did land on the Basin Spring. So the main spring there in Eureka Springs is called the Basin Spring, and that is the namesake of the Basin Park, and then the Basin Park Hotel, which is also owned by the Crescent now. But due to the spring being shaped like a bowl or a basin, so that's what they decided this on. So all during this time between Dr. Jackson discovering the springs and then coming up to 1879. So this area was not really a town. It was just really a spa resort. You don't have to hold her.
Hey, it's okay.
Amber's holding Paris. But you really don't if you don't want to.
She's comfortable.
She is really comfortable. So this was just not really like a certified city at this point, okay? And it had very little population. They say it went from having a few people to all of a sudden overnight having like 10 to 15,000. So with Judge Saunders' promotion of the area and Dr. Jackson's medicines, the city expanded. And like I said, it went from being extremely rural spa village to a major flourishing tourist destination. So in 1880, the town of Eureka Springs was actually legally incorporated. And that was said to be that at that time that the town had 10 to 15,000 people, like we said, and it was the fourth largest city in Arkansas. At that time. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is cool.
So it was like second behind Little Rock at that time. So, and I did not look at what the population is today, so that's something I'll stare at. So, anywho, an additional supporter and promoter of the area had actually moved to Eureka in 1872, so a few years before the incorporation. And he would be solely responsible for kind of pushing the construction and the cultivation of Eureka, but the construction of the Crescent Hotel. So this man is named General Powell Clayton. So he was currently a senator of Arkansas, but he had actually been, a general for the Union Army. So at that time, if you can imagine, that was a little bit radical to some Arkansans who had fought on the Confederate side. So he was a Unionist, and he was actually the 9th governor of Arkansas. And he was kind of responsible for forming the Republican Party in Arkansas, who at that time were totally against slavery and things like that. And of course, most of the Republican Party was on the Union side. So he was a little tidbit about him. So he was essential in Arkansas history, but he was also very controversial. So I really felt like when I dived into him, he might be a good future episode.
Really?
So, yes, and evidently his brother was murdered.
What?
And it's salacious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he himself, so Clayton was actually, he did not die, but he was almost assassinated himself. So he kind of had his enemies.
Yeah.
You know,
that does sound like a good future episode.
Yes. So
I'm intrigued.
You're intrigued, yeah. So
yes.
he had a lot going on, but he had moved to Eureka. He had really large connections to St. Louis and really north because again he had fought on the Union side of things, and so he would be kind of instrumental in getting the railroad line all the way to Eureka. So that's what he wanted, and so in fact he formed a company called the Eureka Improvement Company. So that company would be responsible for getting the railroad connection from like St. Louis from into Arkansas and actually a line directly into Eureka. So this would open the town up for more tourism, commercial business, money, and additionally Clayton kind of in the next 2 years would be along, you know, he would develop that railroad, and then he would also during that time he was constructing the streets of Eureka. He was kind of responsible, or the company was responsible for the water and sewer lines, just all that infrastructure. And he also put in an electric trolley.
Nice.
There's not a trolley there today, is there?
I honestly don't know.
I don't think so.
That would be a nice little addition.
It would be a little cute. Even if it was like driven by like some cute little
old man, that'd be perfect.
It would be perfect. So due to the influx of tourists coming in, everybody's just talking it up because of the springs. So PAL and the Eureka Improvement Company organized the project of building a hotel resort to accommodate all these visitors and bring even more people in. So they organized a purchase of 27 acres of wooded land located on the crest of or the west side of the mountain. The mountain itself, where the hotel sits, is called Crescent Mountain. And that's where the
Crescent Hotel. Mm-hmm. Nice.
That's the name. So, and of course, this mountain, this location, overlooks the whole valley for the site of the hotel. And they did go ahead and hire an architect from St. Louis, which is my birth town. Now you people know. The architect's name was Isaac S. Taylor. So I do have some interesting things on Taylor. He worked on 215 projects in his 50-year career. So he was an architect for a long time, and he was a worker. He also worked on the World's Fair in St. Louis in 1901.
Nice.
So that was one of his big projects that he worked on. He worked all over the country on everything from office buildings, hotels, churches, and just tons more. He did a lot of the buildings in downtown St. Louis. Even working on projects as far away as Mexico and Europe. So he was all over the place, and he studied abroad, like his architecture. He was just very smart. In fact, he was so involved in his work, he never married or had children.
I can see why he didn't get married or have kids, because that takes a big chunk of your time.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know.
Amber's like, well, that sounds really good to me. No, we love Amber Scott and her kids. All 15,000 of them. Okay. Yeah.
I'm literally the woman that had so many kids she didn't know what to do.
And she lives in a sheep.
Yeah.
Okay, so construction would begin in 1884 on the resort, and they brought in numerous stonemasons. They actually brought them in from Ireland.
Nice.
So they really needed their help because of so Eureka has all the limestone. And they were building the building out of 18-inch thick limestones that were quarried from the White River, which was about 10 miles away from where the Crescent sits. So they actually utilized the railroad line to like, you can imagine transporting these stones. And they had to make specially made wagons to get the stones to, the hill where the mountaintop where they were building. So this was a huge thing, and the way in which the stonemasons actually fashioned the building was so kind of intricate and just very involved that they didn't even use mortar. So that was very interesting. So the way they fashioned them, they didn't even have to...
They just fit like a puzzle?
Yeah, and I guess that's why they really wanted these people from Ireland, because they had so much experience with working with the limestone there. So that was very interesting to me. So lots of Irish people hanging out in that time. And that just blows my mind about the mortar situation. So along with the masonry works, they did have one particular, kind of the first horrific tale. Okay?
Oh, wow. Okay. What is it?
Ooh, it's a goodie. Okay, so, and sad. It's said that during construction, one of the stonemasons, a man named Michael, fell to his death from the 4th floor down to what would be room 218.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. The infamous room 218.
The infamous room. Okay.
Yes. So room 218 is stated to be the most haunted of the rooms at the Crescent and is referred to as Michael's room. And it's said that he hangs out on the bed.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know why. It doesn't say anything more than that. But yikes, I really hope we get that room. I'll be like, is 218 available?
Well, I remember hearing that like back, 25 years ago, the first time I toured the Crescent. I remember hearing the Michael story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that is the Michael story. Okay, Amber's still holding Paris, and Paris just had this enormous yawn.
And it smelled bad.
Nice. Yeah, so anywho, so moving along, the building itself encompassed so many different arrays of architectural styles. You can put her down. One website stated that French Renaissance and Richardsonian Romanesque styles were used. So there was really tons of different styles. Like if you've ever looked at the Crescent, like it does have its own very unique look. And so the architects, were really looking at all kinds of stuff. What are you doing?
I don't know.
I'm going to be like squirrel. Okay, so do you need something to play
No,
with?
I was just sitting here.
Do you need like a clicker?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. You need a fidget. What do they call those?
Fidget spinner?
Fidget spinner. Okay, so like I said, they had a ton of different styles. So the Masons actually built up, the walls, the limestone walls, but they had like numerous towers, overhanging balconies, and massive stone fireplace in the lobby, which is so beautiful. It's so exquisite. I love that fireplace. Me and Amber are going to sit by that fireplace.
Oh my God.
In a week from now, right?
Yeah.
It's a
yeah.
week.
Oh, we will be there a week from right now.
A week from
That's
this
really
moment.
cool.
I know. I'm so excited. Additionally, they needed more and more workers to work on this most modern of electrical power. So they were utilizing the most modern things at this time. So they were doing modern electrical work, modern plumbing, and we've kind of gotten into this. Like most homes and places maybe didn't have indoor plumbing until the 30s.
Right.
So this.
They were outhousing it.
Yeah. That sounds horrific.
Yeah.
So this place would have been the place to be. So they had modern plumbing, they had steam heating, and they even had an elevator, like right away. So they wanted the most modern of things. They wanted the resort to be as opulent as could be. So they wanted it for the rich, basically. There are 78 rooms. Now, I did see that some places said 78 guest rooms and some places say 72. Now, I will say they're all extremely spacious. They're definitely not your normal size. And there are 7 VIP suites. And they are massive. Like, you were talking possibly like 2 full king-size bedrooms in one suite. So they do have the VIP suites. The building itself...
Did you get a VIP for us?
I did not. I was like, whatever's the cheapest. Like, this is a working trip. No. The building itself is a total of 5 stories. And it does have 125 rooms total, so that's encompassing everything. The hotel had a mansard roof, and I don't know if I'm saying that right. That's kind of like a French roof, or what they call the clap roof. It had large dormer windows, it had steeple-like spires, and it had really tall chimneys. And kind of all of these elements really lent, when you looked at it, it had a spiky silhouette.
Yes, I can, yeah,
kind of see
agree
that.
with that. I can totally see that.
And
I was staring at some pictures of it today because I was trying to decide what to use for our, for our little picture for the stuff. But yeah, I mean, the architecture is just exquisite, and I was like, I cannot believe this is in Arkansas, and it was built in the late 1800s, because like you said, it is so European, and I don't know, it's just gorgeous.
It's so interesting that it is so European, and that Isaac Taylor, he did spend so much time studying in Europe. He really did. So he really kind of, I guess,
the Masons came from Europe,
and because he needed them.
Yeah,
because evidently only Irish people can put some stones together without even using like cement. That's pretty amazing. I think that's amazing. But yeah, it's really beautiful. The hotel's interior also boasted just lots of luxury. So it has a grand, broad wooden staircase. And it's super ornate, of course, and just beautiful woodwork. And it's located at the south end of the hotel, so that gave like wide central hallways on each upper floors. There was an opulent ballroom and a large dining area that was said to hold 500 people. So it was they had a lot of other guest spaces, like drawing rooms and such. And now, of course, the rooms are used in different spaces, and we'll get into all that in our part 3. But outside amenities even. So it offered a in-ground swimming pool at the time, tennis courts, croquet court, and then full landscaping of gardens, gazebos, outdoor walking spaces. So this was like legit the Victorian, specialty time. So I did want to include, there was like a little blip from looked like the manager. So it says, the delightful family hotel is open all the year. The building is of stone and practically fireproof. So this is like an advertisement back then for the Crescent. So it says rooms are, there's many suites, many have open fireplaces in the rooms, and they all had private bathrooms. So that was also really an awesome thing. So it had elegant public bathrooms.
Elegant public bathrooms. That's something you don't hear very much. Flushable toilets.
I love a good elegant public. I'll tell you, an elegant public restroom is at the Arlington. I said it once, I'll say it again to you. It has the best bath. If you are in Hot Springs and you need to go, you just run up in there, okay? It's right off the lobby.
Tell them Lisa sent you.
I know. And I don't know about the men's room, but the ladies is like, it's like huge. There's like a whole sitting area in there. I mean, if you're a breastfeeding mother, you're just like, you need to hang out in there. Or if you're just a lady that's hot, just hang out in there. It has like ceiling fan stuff. It does say in this advertisement that you have telegraph and telephone ability in the office. You have billiard rooms. So they had billiard rooms. They had it says a 10-pin alley. I don't even know
what's a 10-pin alley.
I don't even know what that is. It says it has a tennis and croquet grounds. It has everything. And it says arrangements have been made with the railroad companies. So they're going to cart you people in from St. Louis, and you can stay at the Crescent, and you're gonna have, and all for $5 round trip is your railroad ticket. So
$5.
Wow. Gets you all the way to the Crescent. So the resort would be completed in 1886, and the whole cost of the resort was $294,000 at that time, which in today's terms would be $10 million. So basically, I
thought you were going to say $10.
$10. No, it's $10 million, but I still think that's a heck of a deal.
It is. It's a heck of a deal.
I don't know
heck of a deal.
I think the school spent $30 billion on.
Badillion.
I'm gonna make up a word. The hotel would be declared at that time the most opulent resort in America.
Nice.
Not just Arkansas. I mean, it was the deal. So
Yeah.
the Arlington couldn't even touch it.
Right.
The doors opened to the public May 1st of 1886, and they had an open house 2 weeks later. So during this time, the Crescent enjoyed great success. I mean, they were booming. The hotel was,
Well, then what the heck happened?
well,
I mean, seriously.
I'm gonna tell you.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm like, it sounds
And then
like
you're-
everything's all great.
It is great, but it only stayed great for a little bit. Okay.
Oh.
So another story similar to the Michael story does pop up in this time frame. Are you ready?
I am ready.
This is very sad to me, and for multiple reasons. But so trigger warning a little bit. This is sad about a little girl. So the story states that shortly after the resort opened, a little girl about 5 or 6 years old stumbled over the staircase and fell to her death
Oh, good Lord.
from the 4th floor
Ugh.
down all the way to the basement.
Oh my gosh.
Allegedly, to this day, you will see a little girl haunting this area.
I've heard that one too.
Have you heard that one?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's kind of the second story in that time frame. So the success, like we mentioned, it wasn't forever. So the successful years lasted about 15 or so. So by the early 1900s, things were beginning to slow down. And we're not talking just for the Crescent. We're talking the whole town.
Yeah.
So a little article said by this time, people generally had begun to rely heavily on the efficacy of medicine and surgery for the healing of physical ailments. So the reliance and faith on the natural cures diminished rapidly, and individuals were no longer visiting health spas like Eureka Springs. Just the numbers of visitors were coming way down. So they were actually looking into medicinal,
This was the
things.
same period of time that institutions and asylums, the population of those places were on the rise.
Yes, and they were really looking more at, we did, everyone go back and listen to it was called was it the Arkansas tuberculosis
Yes.
episode? Is that
Yes.
right? Okay.
But we also had
sanatorium?
we also had a state hospital at the time in the late about the same time that was built. So
Okay.
for people that had behavioral disorders.
So there was a lot more just less kind of people looking at the healing powers. Water was just really, and in fact, I will say, I don't really talk much into this, but around 1905 or 1906, they would actually, form the Ozarka water bottling company there. And so they would start bottling the water instead of, Dr. Jackson's eye medicine, whatever. So
I'm not sure I would drink that.
I know you wouldn't, because we stayed in that spring room at the Arlington. You were like, you wouldn't even take a shower.
I'm really weird about water. Yeah.
And Legionnaires.
And anything that could come from water.
There you go. So in 1902, the Crescent was actually leased to the Frisco Railway for 5 years. So a deal which would bring renovations, because the hotel by this time, it was large. It was really large, and it needed...
in charge.
It was really large and hard to maintenance.
Well, yeah.
So they did need a lot of renovations. So a Frisco newspaper advertisement from the same time of that year specifically mentions the Crescent, proclaiming that since its remodel, it has maintained as a strictly first-class hotel and was open year-round. So they were trying to market it. They were trying to kind of, some years had passed, and they're just trying to make it okay. So kind of due to being large and expansive, and the draw of the springs not being the same as before, Eureka Springs Investment Company formulated a plan to bring in more income to the hotel year-round, okay? So by 1908, they did have an elite girls' boarding school come in. So It was called the Crescent College and Conservatory for Young Women. So they opened this boarding school. The college operated from September to June. So basically, it kind of bridged that gap because between June and September, the hotel was really busy with the summertime traveling.
Seasonal.
Yes, it was very seasonal. And so the hotel would operate in the summer months, and then the school was during, the school year. So the conservatory, as I'll call it now, it flourished. It was very, very popular. So it offered a comprehensive curriculum and a vibrant academics subjects for women, especially with exception on educational opportunities, which was an extremely huge endeavor considering women's education in general wasn't really a high regard at this time.
No, and especially in Arkansas.
Yes, and especially in Arkansas. And really, women's education was in its infancy, and I would say we said especially to the South. So, and if you go back listeners, and listen to episode 1, our Galloway Gertie. It talks about, that is Galloway Gertie, the Ghost of Harding, but we discussed the Galloway College for Women a lot in that episode. So if you're interested in ladies' early education, go listen. I'm plugging all of our episodes. The conservatory did empower women to pursue knowledge and had a commitment to excellence, attracting students from all across the country. In fact, this was really interesting. In fact, the enrollment was restricted to only 88 students, and there were students that came from 39 different states.
Nice.
So this was a boarding school. These parents were sending their girls off to this school, and the school was very steeped in Christian, faith and Christian and moral values and such. So over the years, the college expanded its courses, offering, and it offered music and speech, business, home economics, and art. The college also boasted popular physical education and was very well known for their basketball team.
Nice.
It also offered courses in tennis, hiking, and horseback riding. Have you ever wanted to do any of these?
Well, I had horses growing up, so I did that a lot.
I do not like to ride horses.
I do. I just haven't in a really long time.
I do like to hike, and I don't play tennis, but I play the pickleball.
The pickleball.
And allegedly, I'm pretty good. I played last week, and it was really fun. Okay, so according to the 1916-17 college catalog, girls were expected to bring several items with them to campus. Do you want to hear this? I thought this was really interesting. They were supposed to bring a counterpane, which is like a quilt, a napkin ring, a Bible, walking shoes.
Wait, a napkin ring? Why do you need a napkin ring?
It's
like bring your own napkin ring?
Yes.
Like instead of bring your own beer to college, it's bring your own napkin ring?
Amber.
What?
This is the 1916 catalog. We are not BYOB yet.
Okay.
There's not a fraternity, I don't think. Yeah, it says you have to bring walking shoes, an umbrella, a raincoat. It says rubbers, but I haven't. It's not that kind. No comment. A laundry bag. Oh, you have to bring a hot water bottle. I bet you would have brought a hot water bottle.
Well, yeah, I love my heating pad.
I love my heating pad.
Yeah.
I pack a heating pad everywhere we go. Okay, their uniforms were Peter Thompson style. I will post this. Their uniform was awesome.
Really?
It describes it here. It says a mature and elegant version of the child's sailor suit.
I just spit all over you.
I loved it.
An adult version of the sailor suit.
I really
like Donald Duck wears?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's actually really cute. It's usually crafted from dark blue, it says blue serge or linen, depending on the occasion, and worn with a scarf tied in a sailor's knot.
Oh, God.
So it truly is Donald Duck. Oh, goodness. So the students were required to wear a matching navy blue jacket, oh gosh, during the winter months, so just with the winter months, and woolen underwear.
Yeah, well, you can't forget those.
It is, I will say, so we live in Arkansas. I mean, right now it's like hot. I hate it, but it does get cold here, and especially in Eureka, like that part of the state, it gets a lot colder than you would think in Arkansas. So we do have it does snow there. They do get the wintry junk going on. So they were to organize all purchases during the school year with the principal and correspondence with the outside world, and they had to keep a strict list provided of parents in the start of the school year. So the tuition for 1912 was $375.
I'm in. I'll just send Bo.
It's a girls' school.
I don't care. That sounds like a deal to me.
Those
I've got to send 3 kids to college, so hey, I'm in.
Hey, well, if Bo ever did decide to listen, he's probably like, no, thank you. The college also placed advertisements in popular magazines like Cosmopolitan. So they were in Cosmo. And it had, and on top of the Ozarks, it said this, on top of the Ozarks, famous for healthfulness and beauty of location, 300,000 fireproof building. So this is the advertisement for sending your kid off.
Hey guys, it's fireproof. That's the advertisement. God bless.
I mean, this is the early 1900s.
Yeah.
Most places were made of wood, and they had chimneys. There were a lot of fires going on.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Yeah.
This was another one. They got a room with a private bath.
Flushable toilets.
The best public restroom this side of the Mississippi. It had elevator. I mean, you're sending your kid off to this is amazing. I don't know. I want to go now.
Yeah.
It was accredited junior college, and it was general courses were art, music, expression, and domestic science. That means cooking, people.
Yeah.
That's terrible. So during this time of being the women's college, a couple of mysterious stories emerge. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so it said that the dean of the college, his young son became ill, and he died.
Oh,
I know, this is horrible. So now it said that he roams the hall in his afterlife. So you'll see a little boy, and it does say he makes his presence known by the sound of a bouncing ball. So
that's creepy and sad at the same time.
It is. So you've got the little girl, and then you got him. Also, another story. You ready?
Yeah.
This one's sad too. These are all
and I'm not
sad.
sure how I feel about hearing these before we go, because usually you don't tell me these until after we get back.
Oh, there's so many more after we get back that I've already looked at.
Okay, goody.
Okay, another story is told. This one's a little salacious. Okay?
Oh, good.
It's told of one of the women students, or of course, she's a lady. She had an affair with a male professor, allegedly.
Ew.
Allegedly, she became pregnant.
Oh, no.
And was either pushed
gosh.
or jumped to her death from either it's one thing said the 4th floor balcony, another said the 3rd
that
floor.
4th floor balcony. Wow.
It's a doozy.
Gosh.
They say currently you will see a lady in a white nightgown either fall down the staircase, or you'll see a mist up there. It says you'll see a mist, a white mist. And some have been awoken in the night to hear her screams. Some have seen a shadowy figure peering down over the balcony. Freaky tiki.
Creepy stuff right there. Wow.
So this is what we're going to be looking for. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So President Thompson, he was the president of the school kind of entering into the 1920s. So he worked for 14 years to raise funds needed to continue the operations of the college. But in 1924, however, the college's lease was kind of up with the Crescent Hotel. And without sufficient funding to purchase the property, the Crescent College had to close its doors. So they did close the doors in 1924. Now, in 1925, it does say a Claude Fuller, he was a former mayor, in the Arkansas in a congressman, actually, and then also an Albert Ingalls. He was the current mayor of Eureka. So they actually purchased the hotel. So kind of at that time, the hotel owners was under that Eureka thing by the dude, General what is his name? Powell.
Powell.
Anyway, so they had been the owners, and then the railway, I think, had some ownership, and now it's going to the mayors. Okay, so the mayors are buying it. So they tried to revitalize the hotel during this time, and they advertised based on the hotel's exquisite cuisine and special weekly rates. So now we're talking, there's probably a flashing sign that says special weekly rates. So we're kind of, you can see where this is going.
Yes.
And also, what happens in 1929?
The collapse of the stock market.
Yes. So in October of that year, the stock market crashes, and this is going to, of course, throw the whole country into the Great Depression. So you already had the diminishedness going on with the whole no one being interested in the healing powers anymore of this spring.
Yeah, they're just trying to survive at this point.
They are. And so it did crash, and so just the economy's even worse.
Wow.
So in 1930, kind of with renewed interest from the community, the conservatory did open a junior college. It was the Crescent Junior College, and A.Q. Burns served as the president during this time. The college had a girls' basketball team, and they called them the Crescent Comets.
Comets?
Comets.
Oh, I like that.
I know, it's cute. So, as well as being a prestigious, it really had a prestigious faculty and staff. And this junior college remained open until the end of the school year of 1934. So only 4 years could they kind of keep it together. So with the end of the college and the Depression, the Crescent closed its doors in 1933. And that kind of is where I'm going to leave you guys. And Amber's actually going to pick up the year starting in 1937. I will say between 1933 and 1937, from what I understood, the hotel just sat empty.
Yeah.
So you can imagine what that's like. Just wasting away and getting a little dumpy. So
Yes.
That is what is happening, and that's where my research ended. So what did you think?
I think that's awesome. You definitely set me up for success because we've got a lot that, we're going to pick up right where you left off in the next episode.
Yes. So that's what's going to happen, guys. We do have pod business, of course. We've been posting, so we're not going to talk yet on this episode, but we will be doing our first live show in February. We had announced that. Stay tuned. We are going to be announcing the actual date and pre-selling to our Patreons first, because we are going to pre-sell tickets, and so stay tuned. What else?
I don't know. We've got a lot going on. October's a really busy month. I know that it is for everybody, but September and October, we have several appearances. We have the Paranormal Con, which I'm so looking forward to that. I keep looking at who's going to be there, and I think that is just going to be just a lot of fun, and we're going to learn a lot as well as be able to make more connections to people around the state, which is, one of the fun things about this job.
Yes, I'm super stoked about it. And we will have our merch. A lot of people have asked us about that. So we will have our t-shirts and our decals at the Paranormal. And we will try to take them anywhere we go. So we are going to be at the Independence County Library 4:30 p.m. on September 28th. So we're gonna keep sharing these things. And then, of course, like Amber said, we have tons going on in October. We have a couple of sightings at ASU BB for their Crime Week, and then Halloween, and then we are going to be doing the RCast live show.
In costume, I was just told yesterday.
I believe it's in costume.
It better be, because if we show up and we're the only ones in costume, I'm going to be mad.
I'm going to confirm that.
Yeah, please do. That's the thing you have to confirm.
Or I'll just get you a cute little sailor's costume.
No, I'll pass.
Yay. So, yeah. Anything else?
That's it. That's all I've got.
Well, that's all we have. Hopefully, I don't know. We're troubleshooting some new stuff, so just stay tuned, and hopefully our audio will get better and better as, I don't know, time goes. Eventually, we'll have a whole studio set up and, Times Square. I'm just kidding.
Times Square.
I don't know. So anyway, we love you guys.
Love you. See you later. Bye.
Bye.